Hello, welcome to Data Analytics with Python for Beginners. This is the sixth and last session for us. We'll be talking about exploratory data analytics part 2. Right? Today we will look at descriptive as well as visual analytics. All right. Again, let's split the screen into two. All right. Let's create a new Python file. All right. Let's add a few rows below. All right. First of all, let's import the libraries, pandas and numpy, and then let's create a data frame called housing data, whereby we read the CSV file housing data. All right, let's copy this and run in Python. All right. Now, the next part we want to look at is really the descriptive statistics. What it normally does is that it shows us the mean, median, and the range and the standard deviation, right? That's a very typical whereby you want to look at the data as it is, all right? So for Python, right, we can use the data frame and use the method describe, right? Let's copy and paste and then shift enter, right? So you can see that for each variable, right, we have the count, that means how many observations, we have the mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, and the different quartiles, right? So this will give us a rough idea of for each variable, what is the range, all right? Now here, if we use describe, basically we are only looking at the descriptive statistics for numeric data. We know that in our data set, there are categorical data. So let's, in order to also perform descriptive statistics on them, what we need to include is include all in the brackets. All right, so let's copy this and paste it. All right, so for example, for the flat type, right, you can see. And then for the town, what's the name, right? So there's the number of counts and then the number of unique values, right? So this will be generated for the categorical variables. All right. Now, if you want to just simply look at one particular column, for example, resale price, right? All you need to do is make sure that it's in the brackets for the data frame, and then just copy and paste here, right? You'll be able to see the descriptive statistics. All right. So before we look at the detail of the other variables, right, we may need to do something to it. All right. For example, right, let's look at the variables we have in this data frame, housing data. Right. Let's look at the headers. Right. For example, you can see that for the month variable, actually they have the year and the month. Right. This is where the apartment was sold. All right. So we want to collect the year by itself as well as the month by itself. So we need to break up this variable month into the resale year and the resale month. All right. So you can see that for the months, the first 4 characters are the year. All right. So we are going to create a column called resale year, right, in the data frame. And this resale year is basically the housing data months variable string, right? The first 4 characters of that string, right? But when it is a string, we cannot, it's not so useful. So we convert it into a integer. All right, so the last part here is to convert the string into an integer. All right, so let's copy this and paste it here. All right, now let's look at the resale years. What are the variables and what are the counts? What are the values and what are the counts? Right. So we can see that we have 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And each year there are a number of resale apartments, right? The counts, right? So that's how we do it, all right? Where we extract the variables, right? The year from the variable month, and then we convert it into an integer. And then we can look at the number of counts. Now, what happens if we want the month, right? The month, resale month. So similarly, we do the same thing, except that the string now, right, is going to start from 6 and 7, right? So the first four numbers is 4 characters. The 5th character, this is the 6th character, and then the 7th character. All right, so we are going to use the string to extract 5 to 7 or 6 to 7. All right, so and then we convert it in the end, convert it into an integer at the end. Right, so let's copy and paste and run. And let's look at the value and the counts. All right, so these are the various months. All right, you can see that it's 1 to 12. All right, so it seems like in March, there's the maximum number of sales, right? Maximum number of transactions. Right, so that's how we break the string into year and month. All right, now if you go back to this, you can see that there's a story range. Basically, it's talking about the floor, right? So these are not so intuitive. So what we want to do is we want to give it a name, right? So for example, if it's a story from 0 to 3, basically first floor to 3rd floor, we want to deem the floor level to be very low. 4th floor to 6th floor, we'll deem it to be low. 7 to 9 mild, mid, and 10 to 12 is high. Otherwise, the rest will be very high, right? So you can see that here we are doing a loop, right? We are assessing every row, right? Based on the story range, depending on which range they are, then we create a new data frame, right? Column called floor, right? If you are in 0 to 1, that variable, the floor variable will be very low. All right, so we do the loop and run through the whole data set. Okay, let's copy and paste this. So because the whole set is a link, so we have to be very careful in the sense that everything is linked, but so you cannot start at indents at the beginning. All right, so you need to make sure that there's a separation, right? All right. So if, else if, else if, else if, and else. All right. And then here I miss it. All right. So we hit Shift Enter. So now you'll go through row by row and quote it either, label it either is very low, low, mid, high, or very high. All right. So okay. So it's done. All right. So we have a new column called floor, right? And they have these values. Now let's look at the value and counts for the column floor. All right, so these are the various values. Okay, right. So we know is quite evenly distributed. Right. The next part, right, is about the least remaining years. So we go up here. Right. So least remaining years simply means that how long before the government repossess this, because the flat is really the lease is 99 years. So it shows that each apartment will show how many lease remaining But because it's in this form, it's really in a string form, it's not so useful for us. So we want to take out the years, right? And the years are basically the first two characters of this remaining list, right? So we create a new column called list remaining years in the data frame housing data. And the data is extracted from this column remaining list and the first two characters, right? So let's create this column, right, in the data frame. Okay. Next, we want to create the floor area in terms of square feet because a lot of pricing is based on price per square feet. So it's better that we synchronize it to square feet rather than square meter, right? So we create another column called floor area square feet, which uses the floor area square meter multiplied by 10.763 now. Let's copy and paste here and then run. Oops. And run. Okay. And the last one, we are going to find out the price per square feet. Is basically the resale price divided by the floor area square feet. Right? Sometimes this is called PSF, price per square feet. All right. So these are the variables that we have created. Now, because the data set is, there are so many columns and we don't want to use all the columns because it will be chunky and you slow us down. All right. So we want to create a separate data frame, right, where we select, we want to have a district 19 and the flat type is 4-room, right? But first of all, we want to select these columns: resale year, district, flat type, resale price, floor, price per square feet, right? So it's basically district 19 4-room. Let's create this data frame, right, by selecting the columns that we want. Copy and paste here. Right, so we have selected the columns. We have not filtered. So the next part, right, we want to filter, right, for this data frame D19 4-room, we only want those that district is equals to 19. Also, you can see N, right, the flat type, right, is a 4-room, right? So we want to just focus on district 19 4-room apartments. Let's copy and paste this. Yeah. Right, shift enter. And now we have all isolated the data that we want. Right, let's see the headers. All right, so these are the variables columns that we want. All right, resale year, district, flat type, resale price, floor, and price per square feet. All right, now let's perform a descriptive statistics so that they give us a overall picture. Right, so we can see the number of counts and then the resale year, right? So these are the numbers, right? More importantly is the resale price. You can see that the mean price is 450,000, and then these are the range, okay? And then the price per square feet also, right? You can see the range. So for people who are who wants to buy a 4-room in District 19, so they can see roughly what is the range, what will be the expected price. All right. However, we know that the apartment prices change all the time. So we want to see how has it changed over time. So what we want to do is we want to find the median price of each year. All right. So first of all, we create a data frame called median price 2017. And this is from the data frame D19 4 room, whereby the resale year is 2017. Right? If the resale year is 2017, so we combine them and then we find the median. All right, we find the median. So we'll come up with a number, the median price of in 2017. We're going to do that for 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22. All right, so we create, all right, we sort of compute the median price for these years. All right, so let's copy and paste it here. And shift enter. All right, so we have computed this. Okay. Now let's plot a line chart. All right, let's plot a line chart. So we'll import matplotlib pyplot as PLT, right? Then we create a data frame, right? D19 4 room underscore price. And this is really from the, in this case, it's really the what we did last time in the dictionary, where we have the median price, right? The median price is consists of the median price of 2017, 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22, right? In another column, we have a resale year. Correspondingly, it will be 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, right? So we create a new data frame D19 4 room underscore price. Afterwards, let's look at the header, right? So let's copy and paste this here. Right, so this is the data frame created. All right, let's plot this into a line using a line. So we use the data frame, right? And we use the method plot where the x-axis is resale year. Note that the name must be exactly the same, right? And the y-axis is a median price. We use a color rate and marker as 0. Right, let's copy this and then paste it here. Right, so we can see that the median price of 4 room in District 19 has been rising, right, quite rapidly. Okay, so this so that gives you a good view of what's happening to the price, right? Before you perform in-depth analysis of model development, this gives you an overview of what's happening. All right, right. So so this is part of the visual analytics we need to do before we go into the further analysis of model development. Right, we can also do a scatter plot. Right, we want to see the scatter plot whereby the x-axis is price per square feet and the y-axis is resale price. Right, scatter plot, usually we want to show if is there any relationship? Is it positive, negative, or no relationship between these two variables? All right, let's copy this set of codes and paste and run. Right, so it seems that price per square feet, right, has some relationship with the resale price. Okay, so this is a scatter plot. Right, we can also use a histogram. Right, we want to see the distribution of the resale price. So we have the resale price. We first of all we create 10 bins, right, and then we use a histogram, right, we plot a histogram. So that is a plt dot histogram, and the data we chose is resale price. And this resale price is broken down into num bins. That means 10 bins. All right, so the density is 0, the color is blue, and the alpha is 0.7. Just a setting for the chart. And then we are able to come up with the number of bins, the patches, and the number of observation. Let's copy and paste here. right? So you can see that this is basically the distribution of the resale price for District 14 4-room. All right, so it gives you a good indicator of whether is it highly skewed or is it normally distributed, or depending on the data, what it tells us, what it tells you. All right, so these are the 3 simple charts that we can use for visual analytics, but of course you can use more. All right, so so there are other charts that you can use, right? So it's really provided by this link, right? You can actually use them. All right. For more advanced charts, you can use something called seaborne charts, right? If you're interested, you can look at this link, right? They are more fancy and they're more in depth. All right. And if you do not know what chart you would like to choose or show or plot, right? So this company Domo actually has a good mind map to sort of like point you to the way to see which chart is relevant to what you want to show. All right. And lastly, for the tutorial, you should use the housing data CSV file, plot some charts, right? Provide insights and analysis and the key message. All right. With that, we end here. And thank you for attention for all these 6 sessions. I wish you all the best, and we hope to conduct more lessons in the future. Thank you. Bye.